Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to discuss 5 things that anybody could do to help maintain their car.
Now, some of you are probably going to watch this video and think, really? But this video is for people who really don't know a whole lot about cars.
I mean, think about someone you know whose knowledge about cars pretty much stops at starting the car and getting gas. This video is for them. So, the first thing you can do to help you avoid a fix-it ticket is to check your lights. Make sure they all turn on and they're all nice and bright. Also, make sure you check your tail lights and your side marker lights. Also, one thing that's often forgotten about, your tag lights. Also, remember your brake lights. You can have someone else push the brake pedal for you.
And then, of course, your flashers, because sometimes you never know what life is going to hand you.
Checking your lights often can help you catch problems should they arise and help you avoid a fix-it ticket.
The next thing you can do is check your tires.
It's important to keep the correct amount of air pressure in your tires. So in the case of my 2003 Toyota Highlander, it says right here, 30 psi.
And as far as checking your tire pressure, all you need is one of these. So, we'll go ahead and remove this valve stem cap. We'll go ahead and place this tire pressure gauge on the valve stem.
And it is at 30 exactly, so perfect. It's also important to make sure you have good tread. So what you want to do is take a penny, place it upside down on the tire, and if you can't see President Lincoln's head, or at least the top of it, that's a good sign. That means you have good tread. Another thing you'll want to do is check how old your tires are. Tires last about 4 or 5 years, give or take. Then after that, it really doesn't matter how good the tread is, those tires are not safe to drive on anymore. So in this case, here's the manufacturer date. If I recall right, this is the 25th week of 2018, so these tires are still in pretty good shape. Also, keep in mind, I'm about to date my video, but keep in mind, this video was made in 2020. So don't watch this video in 5 or 6 years and then say, oh, well, Daniel's Car Talk channel said it was okay to drive on tires from 2018, because no. The next thing that's very important is when you drive, keep an eye on your temp gauge. This car's been sitting for a while, so this car is cold, but when you drive, your needle should be pointing smack in the middle. If it starts creeping up towards the H, then what you need to do is get off the road as soon as possible and call a tow truck. Because if it's creeping towards the H, that means your car is overheating. And if you drive while your car is overheating, you can ruin the engine. And as far as what can cause a car to overheat, that could be all kinds of stuff. So best course of action, get off the road, call a tow truck, take it to a shop or take it home and try and figure out what's going on after the car is cooled down, of course. Because really there's no quick and simple fix to figure out why your car is overheating without really looking at it and going through the process of elimination.
So the next thing, yes, we are going under the hood. You guys came here because you didn't know much about cars, and now I am taking you to school. So the next thing you'll want to do to help maintain your car would be to get under the hood and check your fluids.
Right here, we have our engine oil dipstick. Right over here, we have a transmission fluid dipstick. If your car is a manual transmission or you have a newer car, your vehicle might not have a transmission fluid dipstick. This one does, so we'll go over that some more in a minute. And right here we have our brake fluid, power steering fluid, and engine coolant. So let's go ahead and start by checking our engine oil. We'll just go ahead and pull up this dipstick, take a napkin, and wipe it clean. Then we'll go ahead and place it back in. and pull it back out. And right here is our levels. So it could use a top off, but when you check your oil, you want it to be between these two dots right here. If it's any lower than that, you need to add oil. So this could kind of use a top off. I kind of like to keep it up here by this second dot so I know it's full. Now we'll go ahead and check our transmission fluid. And in this case, the dipstick is kind of hiding behind this upper radiator hose. So same thing, pull the dipstick out, wipe it clean, place it back in, and then pull it out. And here is our level. Okay, so it might be kind of hard to see it on camera, but here's our transmission fluid level. It is just beyond these two little notches right here, which is fine. That's just where you want it. That means it's full of fluid and you're good. But when you check your transmission fluid, it's also good to do some observing. Take a look at the transmission fluid that goes onto the napkin. In this case, it's like a pinkish red, which is just what we want. If you check your transmission fluid and the fluid that goes onto the napkin is dark or it's dirty, then it would be time for a transmission service. Also, one thing you never want to see when you check your transmission is metal shavings. If you see metal shavings in the transmission fluid, that means it's breaking down internally, and at some point in the near future, you're going to have transmission problems with your car. So, metal shavings are one thing you do not want to see. Also, be sure to check the rest of your fluids, like your brake fluid, for example. Here's your minimum line and your maximum line. Your power steering fluid, same thing. Minimum line, maximum line. And then your coolant, low and full. And then your coolant, you can check, but only do it when the engine is cold. Reason being, this is a pressurized system. If you remove the radiator cap while the engine is hot, coolant is just going to go shooting up all over the place. You could wind up getting seriously burned. This vehicle has been running. I'm not going to touch this right now. And then, of course, your air filter. And it's a little bit dirty. So with your air filter, what this basically does is it filters the air that goes into your engine so that you don't get dirt and debris sucked into your motor. In this case, it's not perfect by any means, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it for now. And then just put it back in and clamp it back into place. So yeah, really nothing to it, and by checking over the engine and checking fluids, I found a couple of things I should probably take care of. So yeah, let's get this oil topped off and get home. And perfect. And now the last and final thing I'm going to show you. This has to do with your car's fan. So when you turn the fan on in your car, right up here is your intake. Right up here is where your fan gets air from the outside to blow into the cabin of the car. So what you want to do is keep this whole area clear of any leaves, any debris, or anything else that might build up here and constrict airflow. Really just better for you more than anything. If you live somewhere with extreme cold or extreme heat, then trust me, you're going to want that air blowing into the car and keeping you comfortable. And I can tell you, living in California in the middle of July, this really makes a difference. Also, even though you have this cover protecting it, you still don't want anything to get in there. And that is 5 things that pretty much everybody can do to help maintain their car, regardless of whether or not you're mechanically inclined. Also, before I wrap up this video, I want to give you guys a little bonus. If ever you're in doubt about something, consult your owner's manual. These books oftentimes come with your vehicle, unless you got it used from somebody, in which case you can order these books for really next to nothing on Amazon or eBay. And these books are pretty much the ins and outs of your vehicle. Pretty much everything you need to know about your vehicle will be in your owner's manual. So if you run into a problem and you're not really sure how to fix it, or you just really have a question about your vehicle, pull out your owner's manual, and most likely it will tell you what you need to know.
And that's pretty much all I got. You guys be safe and take care.